Um, Shout out to Bob. He requested me to do this album. And what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my hip hop review. Album I'm about to review today is Royce the 5'9" Street Hop, released in 2009 under MIC and One Records. Yeah, Royce the 5'9", Royce the 5'9". It's interesting MC right here. He's an MC from Detroit. You know, he was originally wait, hold on. Yeah, MC from Detroit, and he was like an MC. He influenced by hip hop when he was like a teenager and all that. Fast forward to 1997, he um he met Eminem, and this was like a year after Eminem dropped Infinite, which the album didn't really, he was still an underground figure around that time. So the two formed a close working relationship, and then they formed a duo, Bad Meets Evil, which I'm gonna get into that in a minute though. And so yeah, so I think around that time, I think 1998, 99, um, Eminem Eminem signed to Aftermath Records and shit like that. And Royce the 5'9", he was featured on what's that song? Bad, of course, Bad Meets Evil on Slim Shady LP, which is in my opinion, a classic CD. I have to do a review on that probably later on this year. I don't know. I have a lot of reviews lined up, and so yeah. So everyone was like, "Who is this cat Royce the 5'9" and stuff like that? Because Eminem, he was already. Everyone was like, "Who is this cat Eminem?" Though, but he was already getting his shine around 1999 and stuff like that. Because he was everywhere, like in all the music video thing. And so a lot of people don't even know this, but the song Eminem did with Jay Z, Renegade, off Jay Z Blueprint album, that was originally Eminem's song. That was supposed to be a duet between him and Royce. A lot of people do not know that though. And so around that time, Royce the 5'9" Eminem, I think they had like a falling out though because I think like Eminem was putting up all his time with D12 and stuff like that. That Royce kind of felt like left out and stuff like that. So they kind of went back and forth, with the feuds and the feud and all that. And it wasn't until like I think 2007, 2008 that they Eminem and Royce squashed the beef though. But other than that, I'm kind of getting a little off topic though. But yeah, let me find out. Yeah, and so 2000 and 2000. Fast forward to 2002, he dropped the his first album, Rock City. Um, he released interesting story about the album Rock City. He released like I think a lot of versions of that album, and the most notable one was one with the black and white cover, and yeah, it's one with a black and white cover and shit like that. So that was the most popular one. I bought Rock City, but I bought the one with the blue version, and that did not have all the songs like it had on the 2.0 version though, which I need to get my hands on the 2.0 version, but it's kind of hard to come by like where I'm at, so I'm gonna have to order it online. So that, in my opinion, that's a dope ass album though, and a lot of people have said that's his best work in my opinion. Although I do love that album, I kind of feel like his next best work is Death is Certain. That album right there, arguably, in my opinion, his darkest work in my opinion. And so he dropped that like in 2004, which was a very good album, a huge album in the underground and stuff like that. So yeah, and a lot of people have said that's actually his most. A lot of people said that's his, like the most critically acclaimed album too. Very dope album. Then fast forward to 2005, he dropped Independence Day, which was an album that um I have not heard the album to be honest, but I've read a lot of people did not really like it. They kind of felt it was kind of rushed because it was a year after like Death is Certain. So yeah, and so around that time, like he actually got into a fight with Proof, you know, which was of course part of D12 and like the hype man of D12. Not like he was like a central figure like in D12. And so I read that they actually got in a fight in a club and stuff like that, and they were in jail, and they like I think they squashed the beef in jail from what I heard. And fast forward to 2006, he actually arrested I think because violating his probation, which I'm gonna get into that later on when I discuss this album. And he was released in 2007, and so he was working heavily with Primo around this time. And so they were working on this album repeatedly. And he was doing guest appearances, and so that's where 2009 Street Hop came out. Yeah. Oh, damn! I forgot. And like, of course, Slaughter. He was, I think, around this time, like Slaughterhouse. He was like in Slaughterhouse too, like with Give me one minute. Like 2008 Slaughterhouse and like Joe Button, Crooked Eye. I mean, wait, was it Crooked Eye? King, Joe Button, Crooked Eye, Joel Ortiz, and him. And they didn't drop that album until the same year. And yeah, basically, I forgot to mention about that. But anyway, Street Hop. Let me get back to Street Hop. Singles I'm most known for are "Shake This," "Part of Me," and "New Money." Producers are DJ Premier. He's the executive producer. Amil, Denon Porter, Knots, Carlos Brody, Street Runner, Frequency, Quincy Tones, and Raph Moses. Also about this album was actually supposed to be two albums put together, but like he actually released an EP called a Revival EP, which just basically contains like four songs off the Street Hop album. Other than that, guest appearances include Crooked Eye, King Vicious and Ayana Dean, Fonte, Busta Rhymes, Slaughterhouse, of course, Melanie Rutherford, Trick Trick, Mr. Porter, K Young, Jungle Rock Jr., Bun B, and Joe Ortiz. Yeah. So a lot of these songs, in my opinion, like it's kind of like more like a braggadocio appeal, like the majority of the songs. So I'm gonna discuss like a few of these songs though, a few of these songs because yeah. Track number one, Gun, Gun harmonizing featuring Crooked Eye, dope song right there. One of his best songs, one of my favorite songs off this album though. I mean, it goes. What I got from that song was like him him using his rhymes as basically basically guns, like and shit like that. Like that beat was, whew, that beat is nuts. And I'm not a huge fan of Crooked Eye like that, but he did his thing on that song. So track number four, Something to Ride To featuring Fonte, self-explanatory. Primo actually produced that joint right there, and it's basically like a song where it's like a mellow kind of song, just chill out and vibe to, like you just driving at night and you just black cruising down the street and just hearing this song and all that. I felt it was a good choice to have Fonte on the song because Fonte he's like he doesn't get the credit he deserves and stuff like that. And I definitely gotta did I do a review on Little Brother yet? I think I need to do a review on Little Brother, or I could have done a review on it, but I got. Track number five, Dinner Time featuring Busta Rhymes. Dope song. Um, Busta Rhymes, when it comes to guest appearances, Busta's always killing it with guest appearances. But like when it comes to like, I think any album he did, he put out post Anarchy. Besides the Big Bank, has been kind of a little bit because he was kind of feeding to like more commercial. Like when he switched labels, when he left Elektra Records, they're trying to polish his sound a little bit. I think because he signed to J Records, I believe. Yeah, so they're trying to polish his sound a little bit. So other than that, they all did their thing on this album. I'm not gonna lie. Track number six, Far Away. Ugh. He was using the auto tune on this song right here, and you gotta remember this is back in 2009. Every rapper and their mamas was using auto tune around this time, and I would have never thought I would hear Royce the 5 9 like Royce the 5 9 on auto tune, and he only said he was just fooling around with the auto tune, but I don't. Know. Track number seven, Warriors, featuring Slaughterhouse and Melanie Rutherford. Dope posse cut right there. It's nice that Slaughterhouse are like doing their thing now and shit like that. My opinion, I feel like Joe Ortiz had the best verse on that song, and cause like Joel Ortiz, man, I don't know, he's like my favorite member next to Royce the 5 9, and he does not get the props he deserves, in my opinion. I don't know why, but Yui does not get the props he deserves. What else? What's the other song? What else? Track number 10, Shake This. Um, that's a very interesting song right there. He's talking about like his childhood at first, but like he also talks about like how he was arrested for that whole DUI incident and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a personal song and shit like that. Mm. What's the other song? What other song? Alright. Track number. And the last track I'm gonna talk about is a song called Part of Me. This is a very, very interesting song right here. It starts off like. Okay, bear with me when I'm about to tell you this, okay? It starts off like in a hook where he was like saying stuff like how I missed you so much. And you think he's talking about some girl and stuff like that. But then flashback because now he was in the club and he meets this fine ass girl. You know, like when you in the club, you feeling yourself too much. You see this girl, you start talking to her and shit like that. But then little does Royce know that the other girl that he's with, the other girl, I mean another girl put something in his drink though. And it was like probably like I think it was like a sex. Uh, he put she put something in his drink, and he goes to the hotel to lie down, and both those same girls cut his dick off. So hence the title "Part of Me." Like it's a crazy song though. Like when I first heard this song, I was kind of like, oh wow, oh. But like I was like, oh wow, damn. Next time I heard this song, I was kind of like it's kind of like a twisted song. It was a very I like the way he did that song too. And that's all the songs I'm gonna talk about on this album. Overall, this album's okay, but it does run a bit too long in my opinion. Like there's some songs I wish he would have taken out, like Think for Your Girlfriend, Bad Boy. Like I'm not a huge fan of those songs right there. Also, I kind of feel like the production was not like it was not as good. It was not that good though. Although you had some dope beats from Primo and all that, like some songs I felt like the beats were kind of like more club bangerish and shit like that. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just my opinion though. Like I feel like some of these beats were just kind of mediocre. Like it was not like what you expect from Royce the 5 9. What else? What else about this. But other than that, Royce the 5'9", Royce the 5'9". He has got to be. In my, I like the fact that he's getting more shine now than he's ever been before, and that's like because like you gotta understand he was kind of overshadowed by Eminem. He was overshadowed by Eminem in the area of his career. But now, like I think ever since like 2009, like he's getting like more and more shine and shit like that. So that's one thing I like about this album because really brought him more out there. And by the way, if you guys have not heard the new album he put out with Primo last year, must have in your collection. I need to get my hands on that too. That's a very, very, very good album, in my opinion. But that's another conversation for a different day. Other than that, Royce the 5'9" Street Hop, released in 2009. Pick it up. And also, next week, October 15th, I believe, is the last day for the Q&A. So most likely, I will do the Q&A most likely the next weekend or the weekend after that. So if I don't do it this month, it'll probably be early next month. But just make sure next weekend is next week. Yeah, submit all your questions in to me. And that's all the time I have. Stay tuned for more stuff. Peace.